Like the underlying North Star of all performance marketing is expanding the delta between your acquisition cost and your predicted lifetime value contribution profit, which is a very...
Explain that like I'm 3 years old.
I think one of the best things you can do if you just started a brand is...
So we talk all the time about the importance of marketing. It doesn't matter how perfect your product is. It doesn't matter if you literally are solving like every dude or woman's problem. If you don't have the ability to get it out there and tell other people about your product, you are going to go out of business, all right? This happens all the time. Marketing is, in my opinion, the most fundamental thing that you need to focus on and figure out if you expect to be successful in whatever business you want. That being said, last week or 2 weeks ago, I was in Chicago at the Tiege Hanley quarterly meeting. One of the people that I got to see was Tom Robinson. Tom Robinson is the Tiege Hanley marketing director. Now, before I actually show you the interview that I did talking to him, a few things about Tom. Tom has now been with Tiege Hanley for a few years, and he was somebody that came in and instantly made a dramatic difference on the trajectory of Tiege Hanley. Not only that, he is so crazy smart, it's insane, which is kind of hard for somebody like me to listen to because sometimes I just don't understand. And so for him to be able to dumb it down for me to understand, I think is pretty awesome. Something else that you need to know about Tom, he is an amazing leader. And this is something that is incredibly rare, honestly, in today's world. He is somebody that not only like is incredible in terms of what he does, he uplifts other people that are around him. And this is something that if you can find for your company, gentlemen, you better grab onto them and hold on to them with your Kung Fu action grip, because this is something that is honestly unique. It's also special. He does an amazing job giving other people credit and basically mentoring others. I can't say enough amazing things about Tom and what he has done for our company. While I was in Chicago doing that vlog, if you missed the vlog, it posted last time, I started to ask Tom some questions, but I'm like, you know what? He's dropping so much value, and the things that we were talking about were so incredibly critical to everybody's success in terms of a business that I really wanted to kind of segment it and give you this video just as it is. And so without any further ado, I would like to introduce you again to Tom Robinson to drop some incredible marketing knowledge on you. But this is Tom. Tom, come in here. All right, so your job, once again, tell everybody.
Director of Marketing.
The reason why I want Tom to kind of talk to you guys, a lot of the guys on this channel or women or whoever watching this are some of them are thinking about business, some of them may at some point want to be in business or start a business, but it all boils down to marketing. Marketing is the most important thing that you're gonna do in terms of a business that's gonna determine whether or not it's successful or it fails, right? And you know, you can have the greatest product in the world, but you don't have a way or a method to get it out there to the right people in a timely and a cost-effective manner, you're gonna go broke. So Tom, what would you say is your #1 best marketing tip that you would give somebody that is starting a business?
I think at the beginning, you just gotta test, and you gotta test and learn. And once you have an established trajectory of how many customers you can bring in, it's all about knowing your numbers. So I think a mistake that a lot of companies will make is trying to go too big too fast, and they'll spend way too much money per customer and they'll be at a deficit. You'll be losing money.
CAC, gentlemen, customer acquisition costs. We talked about that before.
Yeah.
And so what would you say is the most effective marketing tool that you think is out there right now? Because I think that's one of the things. There's so many different marketing avenues and options, right? You've got Facebook, you've got TikTok, you've got paid ad. Like, what would you say is your best advertising bang for your buck right now?
I think if you're in the D2C space, you're selling like a consumer good, you probably want to start with 2 fundamental channels, which is influencers and paid social. So you want to get your content from influencers, you want to utilize that content and repurpose it for UGC on paid social. You really should be doing both.
What's UGC?
User generated content. So like influencers, these are the people that are usually the most charismatic, they can sell your products the best. And a lot of people, if they just start with paid social, your ads and your creatives are going to be weak. So if you can harness the creatives from influencers and use them both in parallel, I think that's a great strategy to start with.
The downside to influencers is what?
They can be very expensive, they're very manual, they're hard to work with. It's a people...
But other than that...
Yeah, But that being said, it's harder to scale with influencers straight out of the gate too, right?
Yes. It's
you can't just turn on the tap and say, okay, we found a winning influencer, just post this 50 more times like you can on Meta.
The other problem is that a lot of new businesses think, oh, this person has a lot of subscribers or this person gets a lot of views. It's gonna automatically convert a lot of sales. And that's something that I think in the old days, it was more, it really depends on the market, the sales message, and kind of what the content is and who the audience of that influencer is. You know, also influencers think they're much more valuable than they actually are.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing with influencers is also don't treat it as like a transactional relationship. You want to establish long-term brand partnerships. So a lot of what we do at Teach Hanley is we say this isn't a one-off deal. We're not going to give you 20K for one video and disappear. We're going to, you know, build a long-lasting relationship.
We're paying people 20K?
The best ones, maybe. But let's say if it's even 5K.
Okay.
But if you can build like one integration a month over 12 months, the influencer sees how much money they can make, and they're motivated to do a good job each and every time to keep the relationship going.
Exactly. So, it's about building a relationship and not just thinking it's just a one-off, two-off, three-off. It's about, you know, because that's the other thing. Like, you as the brand need to do a great job in order to make sure that the influencer has what he needs in order to do the best job he can for you. And so just sending him a product and being like, talk about it, you need to make sure that you're doing your work on the back end in order to basically make sure that that influencer can be utilized as well as possible, including your landing page, including your offer. The offer is huge. If the influencer sends 10,000 people to your landing page and you only convert at a 1%, that's bad. Is it the influencer? No, their job was to get them interested in your product enough to go to your landing page. It's you, it's your page, maybe it converts poorly or your offer isn't strong enough.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the landing page is something that almost every new brand will miss, and one of the best things you can do for an influencer that you want to build a long relationship with is personalize their landing page to them.
Custom landing pages convert better.
Yeah, absolutely. If he's talking about dating advice and they're integrating something like skincare into that pitch, have the landing page talk about how skincare is going to help your dating life.
And have the influencer stand there with the picture.
Yeah, have their personality there, because really at that point they're buying from a combination of the brand and the influencer. So you want to unite those two on the landing page.
Paid advertising. Which avenue would you say is most effective for remarketing or retargeting? Would you say Facebook still?
Meta is going to give you the most control for anything bottom of funnel for sure still.
Okay, what about Amazon?
Well, Amazon space, you want to start, first you want to start with just like keyword ads.
Well, I guess actually Amazon isn't appropriate because that's something where you've got to do a lot of legwork. You've got to basically build your Amazon storefront, get reviews, and get that process moving, and it takes a lot of legwork in order to do it. Now, once it's set up, it is very effective and affordable and very targeted in terms of your ad spend. But if you're just a new business trying to sell, say, t-shirts, you're not going to be going on Amazon. And so what are your paid advertising options in terms of marketing, would you say, or best, like right now?
Yeah, so if you're going to go to paid platforms, I think starting with Meta, which owns WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and so on and so forth. Start there. You want to build out heavy top of funnel investment, especially at the beginning, meaning new customers and building awareness about your brand. Don't even focus on like sub-segmenting your campaigns at the bottom of the funnel when you're just starting out. And then once you get past Meta and you hit some sort of saturation, so saturation is when your CPAs creep up. Let's say if you start at 45, all of a sudden you're at 55. You know, maybe when you start spending over 6 figures a month, that's when you want to look into platform expansion.
Most of you won't be spending 6 figures a month right now.
We hope you do.
We hope you do, exactly.
Yeah.
Some other marketing, I'm actually probably going to just have this and our talk be one video, because I think marketing is one of the things, like I said, that is the most critical aspect of any business online. Any business any business. I mean, it's all about marketing. You can have, you know, a subpar product, but if you market it well, you can sell a lot. Now, you shouldn't, because reviews nowadays are basically what people live and die by, right? You've got to make sure that the product that you're selling is meeting customer expectations, because if not, you're gonna have bad reviews. And once that happens, you know, in the old days, a lot of like fake reviews were very prevalent, right? Now,
Can't do it.
you can't do it.
Yeah.
And we have gotten to be so accustomed to basically looking for that peer reassurance or that peer buy-in of, hey, is this product liked by other people that are buying it, or is it not? And we base our buying decisions more on that than anything, especially on Amazon. Agree?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so what would you say is a tool that people can utilize in order to sort of analyze kind of marketing spend and effectiveness and efficiency?
Like efficiency, like it's very.
So what is efficiency? Explain what marketing efficiency is.
Well, I think a lot of marketers get caught up in different attribution models from different platforms. You just want to go back to the basics when you start out. Think about how much money you spend, keep a very close eye on how much you spend weekly basis, how many net new customers are you bringing in the door, and use those two metrics to calculate your average customer acquisition cost.
How do you know when to basically stop? How long? Because I know that a lot of people will think, oh, you know, a lot of people like agencies will say, oh, you need to basically, you know, use us for X number of months or whatever it is in order to really, you know, get a good handle. The other problem is agencies. Let's talk about agencies real quick.
Yeah.
They are full of shit. Most of the time, agencies are full of shit. They're lying to you. They're taking basically a lot of the traffic that you may be generating and attributing it to their effectiveness or what they have done. Talk about agencies.
Yeah, absolutely. Like one of the easiest things, let's say if I'm an agency that runs Google Ads for a company and I wanted to show how my share of site contribution is larger, the first thing if I wanted to cheat the system and be a slimy agency is I would just bid more on brand keywords. These are not incremental, but it would show my sales going up, but it's not actually adding to the business like top line. So there's a lot of things that agencies can do to make it look like they're doing an incremental impact to the business, but they're actually not. And that's why it's so critical to keep an eye on your blended acquisition costs, because ultimately if that is staying the same or going down, you know the agency is doing a good job. But if your blended costs are going up,
what is the blended cost?
Your blended acquisition cost is, again, all of your marketing channels spend added up, how many net new customers you have.
How do you determine your LTV? Because when it comes to figuring out how much you can spend in order to acquire a customer, it all boils down to what you're spending to acquire them, what your lifetime value of that customer is, and how long it's going to take you to basically recoup your investment, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like the underlying North Star of all performance marketing is expanding the delta between your acquisition cost and your predicted lifetime value contribution profit, which is a very...
Explain that like I'm 3 years old.
Yeah, okay. So we explained what your acquisition costs are, your CAC or your CPA, however you want to say it. Your LTV is going to be, you know, for Teach Hanley, it's a subscription model business. So we calculate, you know, two metrics make up that. Of the LTV portion of that equation, which is how many boxes you get on average in your lifetime. So let's say roughly it's 4 boxes. And then what's your AOV of those boxes? What's the average order value of each of those boxes? Let's say it's $40. So if we have $120, you know, $160 acquisition LTV in that circumstance, and it costs us $40 to acquire a customer, we could say we make $120 of profit. However, that's only CAC, the delta between CAC and LTV. Contribution profit is where it gets difficult, and that's probably a different story.
So as you can see, it's okay. So I guess 30,000 foot view is pay attention to your numbers.
Yes.
You would recommend find some influencers that are affordable in order to generate content. Now, the other thing is that if content is the key and what you're looking for, you don't necessarily have to pay an influencer. If there is somebody that really you think would resonate or that has good stage presence or camera presence, having some piece of content or getting a friend to help you basically generate some type of content that you can then test. And really what we have learned at Teach Hanley over the years is you gotta not be committed or think that there's one end-all be-all piece of content that's gonna help you go viral and then all of your problems are gonna be solved. It's about basically testing. Your market will tell you if your ad sucks or it doesn't. and don't go too long spending money thinking that you're right when your customers are telling you that you're actually wrong, or you haven't figured out how to dial in or find the customers that need to be in front of that ad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think one of the best things you can do if you just started a brand is start with product seeding. So that's give creators, content creators, a free product in exchange for a post, but don't go in it with an expectation. Go in it.
Do they still do it though? They used to do that. They don't do that anymore.
They don't do that anymore. But if you start with the smaller creators and you go in with, it depends on the product too. If it's if it's an expensive product, if it's a $1,000 watch, they may do it. If it's a $10 toothbrush, they probably won't. So it depends on your product and your vertical and what industry.
You can also say, hey, I would like to send you this post, and you can also then at that point offer them some type of affiliate.
Exactly. The combination works really well.
Yeah.
But I think if you go it from a human connection component, especially if your product is solving a big problem that may resonate with that creator's audience, there's a human appeal there as well. Money's always going to be the big thing for a long term, but you need to distinguish yourself beyond the monetary commitment that you're providing the influencer as well.
Good. Any last piece of advice? Marketing advice for people that are wanting to start a business?
I think it's just still now is the best time. I think a lot of people will tell you that things are oversaturated, but it's knowing your customer and then finding good like product market fit. So
value. It's also about providing a tremendous amount of value. Do not try to compete on price because it's a losing battle, right? You've got to make sure that your value that you're bringing in terms of the product is up here, your price is fair. I also have heard, hey, charge a little bit more. I mean, there's so many different facets about how to basically, the psychological component of sales and that whole mechanism. But anyway, I'm going off on a different tangent that's probably not where we need to wrap things up, gentlemen. That's where we're gonna wrap things up for this one. Thank you so much, Tom. Tom is a marketing rock star. You've really done an amazing job. I know that right now because last month was good, or last quarter was amazing. We go through ebbs and flows. You've got to just ride it out, but you're doing an amazing job. And I know from Kelly, you agree?
Love it.
But no, you've done just an amazing job, and you've been such a needle mover for our company. Unbelievable. So don't go anywhere.
Yeah, no plans to go. Yeah.
Guys, thanks for watching. Later.